So, folks, there is this prison called Alcatraz, the Rock. Okay? And remember to like, comment, and subscribe, just as an FYI. My editor likes it when I say it at the beginning, so I decided to try it here. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Do it. Leave a comment, subscribe, do the things. But there's this place called Alcatraz. And Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz because he's a senile old fool and he has decided that Alcatraz seems pretty cool. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he caught The Rock on television or something. I don't know. But he thinks it's really cool and we should open it and run it again because, you know, this country just needs more mean prisons. And, well, a lot of Republicans are trying to run with that, despite how insane it is.
Keep Rikers Island prison open in New York, as opposed to closing it and building 5 different jails throughout the 5 boroughs.
Well, I'm all about it. Let's have Riker and let's have Alcatraz both open. So we've got the East Coast and the West Coast both covered, and put our most notorious criminals in both of them. So people understand we're a nation of laws again, unlike what we had underneath Biden. So I'm all about it. And when we want to start talking about criminals being punished, I don't believe in keeping them comfortable. I want them to regret the crime that they have committed, and President Trump is committed to making sure that we enforce our nation laws again.
All right, Senator.
Okay, we really need to break down how insane this clip was, right? So,
I'm all about it. Let's have Riker and let's have Alcatraz both open. So we've got the East Coast and the West Coast both covered, and
so again, the host of the show is complaining here about, like, oh, they want to close Rikers and build 5 other prisons. And this guy's like, no, we'll have Rikers and Alcatraz open and cover the East and the West Coast. And that way people will know we're a nation of laws again. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If opening more prisons lets people know that we're a nation of laws, then surely building 5 new prisons in New York City would send a stronger message. Like, if you have 2, you're literally cutting the number of prisons from 6 to 2. Like, what, like, it doesn't even make sense, even if you're in favor of prisons being opened. Yeah, one prison, strong on crime, nation of laws. 5 prisons, weak, no laws. Like, what is this? Like, genuinely. Like, they don't even know what they want. It is incoherent. Okay? It is incoherent. It might actually be possible that he got this harebrained scheme from watching Escape from Alcatraz on WLRN this weekend, because that movie was airing in South Florida this weekend, in West Palm Beach. That would be really wild, and honestly, I'm not putting it past Donald Trump to have that idea.
Put our most notorious criminals in both of them, so people understand we're a nation of laws again, unlike what we had underneath Biden.
Of course.
So I'm all about it. And when we want to start talking about criminals being punished, I don't believe in keeping them comfortable.
Let's be completely clear here. The point of prison is not to punish people by torturing them. It's to punish people by denying them freedom. Like, it's to deny them their ability to go where they will. Like, that's supposed to be the punishment of prison. It's not to also torture them like what happens in Rikers or what happened in Alcatraz, right? Like, it's not supposed to be that you just send people to be tortured in prison because we have laws against cruel and unusual punishment. That's what it's... We're not supposed to cruelly and unusually punish people in prison. Pretty straightforward, actually.
I want them to regret the crime that they have committed, and President Trump is committed to making sure.
Yeah, they regret that by, like, I don't know, not being able to see their family, They regret it by, like, you know, being in a place they don't want to be against their will. Like, that is the primary thing that punishes people. It's not supposed to be, oh, there are rats running around and maggots in the food, and like you're subjected to like horrors beyond your comprehension, and you might die of pneumonia. Like, these aren't supposed to be part of our prison system, but they are encouraged by like psychopaths like this, who are like, yeah, I want everyone in prison to suffer. You know, like it's not supposed to be the torment cells, you know?
Sure that we enforce our nation laws again.
All right, Senator. Keep Rikers.
Like, these people are psychotic. All right? They're psychotic. And one other thing. Now, some people might not know this, but Alcatraz isn't open anymore. It does not currently function as a prison. Largely, it's a tourist attraction. You know, people go and like check it out, but it's not there to really be denying people freedom. It's not really a prison facility. It's not functional in that way, largely because, well, it's not easy to keep a prison on an island. And when you're like, well, wait a minute, Jack, how not easy is it? It's actually really not easy. And the Department of Prisons, or Bureau of Prisons, rather, of the federal government has a website about Alcatraz, and it's quite interesting when it talks about the prison closure. So, on March 21st, 1963, USP Alcatraz closed after 29 years of operation. It did not close because of the disappearance of Morris and the Anglins. The decision to close the prison was made long before the three disappeared, but because the institution was too expensive to continue operating. An estimated $3 to $5 million was needed just for restoration and maintenance work to keep the prison open. That figure did not include daily operating costs. Alcatraz was nearly 3 times more expensive to operate than any other federal prison. In 1959, the daily per capita cost at Alcatraz was $10.10 compared to $3 at USP Atlanta. The major expense was caused by the physical isolation of the island, the exact reason islands have been used as prisons throughout history. This isolation meant that everything, food, supplies, water, fuel, had to be brought to Alcatraz by boat. For example, the island had no source of fresh water, so nearly 1 million gallons of water had to be barged to the island each week. The federal government found that it was more cost-effective to build a new institution than to keep Alcatraz open. After the prison closed, Alcatraz was basically abandoned. Many ideas were proposed for the island, including a monument to the United Nations, a West Coast version of the Statue of Liberty, and a shopping center/hotel complex. In 1969, the island again made news when a group of Native Americans claimed Alcatraz as Indian land, with the hope of creating a Native American cultural center and education complex on the island. The Indians of all tribes used their act of civil disobedience to illustrate the troubles faced by Native Americans. Initially, public support of the Native Americans' cause was strong, and thousands of people came to the island over the next 18 months. Unfortunately, the small Native American leadership group could not control the situation, and much damage occurred: graffiti, vandalism, and a fire that destroyed the lighthouse keeper's home, the warden's home, and the officers' club. In June 1971, federal marshals removed the remaining Native Americans from the island. Which is that I know I didn't have to share all this, but that seemed interesting and cool, and I figured worth talking about. So yeah, basically, Donald Trump saying, "Oh, let's just remake Alcatraz. Let's just do Alcatraz again." It's possible, but like we're talking like you basically at this point have to level the island and build a new prison from scratch. And when you finish building that new prison from scratch, which will take tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, because of tariffs on the goods being used to make the prison. Then you're looking at the ongoing operation costs of the prison, and it's just going to be exponentially more than the other prisons that are being run in the United States. So, like, it is a comical act of, like, fantasy from a government that is dedicated to constantly slashing government spending to bring back Alcatraz.
Trump is a senile old fool really should be used more often. It adds a sense of shame and incompetence that's needed in dialogue about him.
I mean, it's also true. You know, like, the issue is that, like, Donald Trump has cultivated, like, this mythos, this like cult of personality around himself, that, like, he's playing like 5D chess. He's he's always one step ahead of the game. And the reality is, when he wakes up in the morning, he has no idea what he's gonna do. He just goes by instinct and, dementia at this point. Like, he's just, like, rolling. And honestly, the support system around him is full of sycophantic yes men who want to flatter him, but also want to control him by being, like, the first person into the room with him and, like, the person whispering in his ear, because they know he's just going to go, yeah, that's a really good idea. We should do that. Or until he sees it on TV. Exactly. I don't think they want to run the prison well. They want to run it like CCOT. I mean, that's also, like, a good point. Like, I don't think they really care that much about the conditions of the prison, but, like, genuinely, the conditions of the prison would still require, like, a massive renovation that will cost a lot of money and take a lot of time. We're talking, like, a multi-year commitment to even getting it ready to house people. I don't know. It seems kind of like the government waste and the fraud and abuse would maybe be against opening up a prison that's 3 to 4 to 5. I mean, it was 3 times more expensive in the 60s to run this prison. Like, I imagine that's going to be exponentially more now. So that's the idea is just bad, no matter how you slice it. It's just bad and useless, and, like, should be looked down upon with scorn by anyone with a half-functioning brain. So, we talked about Alcatraz. You shouldn't do it. Even if you believe torturing prisoners is good, you probably shouldn't do Alcatraz. You also shouldn't torture people, but, like, these people are monsters and genuinely only seem to care about money. If that, even. Nincompoops, a lot of them.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and